Alright, since I Saw Vienna by Wilbur, I thought I'd do a tutorial on this. I saw a bunch of tutorials online that were pretty good, but I don't think they went into super detail about how to do all the parts, and maybe missed a couple of the little chord things. And I'm going to teach the whole song from beginning to end, exactly how he does it, every single little note, and hopefully that helps people learn it. So yeah, and once again, please like and subscribe and or donate if you can. That would help me out a lot. I'm kind of just doing these for free. Not even kind of, I am. But it's a lot of fun, but you know, I'm not sure how long I can keep it up as things start to pick up again, hopefully. So, anyway, the guitar is in regular old tuning, so just like most guitars are tuned normally, which is E, A, D, G, B, E. Then you're going to put your capo on the 4th fret. And once again, like I said in my other videos, this is the 4th fret right here. Try not to put the capo in the middle like a lot of people do. Put it right behind the 4th fret, almost on top of it. It'll help it stay in tune a little better. There you go. So on and so forth. So this song is pretty cool. There's only 2 parts really, and he does a couple variations and then some chords at the end, but you really just have to learn these 2 big parts. And you should be able to get the rest of it pretty good. Also, it uses your fingers. If you've never played fingerstyle before, I suggest doing my little crash course video. I'll put a link below on how to play fingerstyle, because it's a little tricky and I don't want you to develop bad habits if you've never done it before. If you have, that's great, and you should be able to just jump right into it. But if you haven't, do that. It'll help you out a lot. And this is a great song to learn fingerstyle on because it's such a pretty song and it's not super hard. So let's jump right into it. This first chord is an A minor 7 chord. Well, actually, it would be an A minor 7 without the capo here. Now we have the capo on, it moves everything up. It's actually a C sharp minor 7. If you don't understand what that means, that's okay. I'll show you exactly where to put your fingers and you can just learn the song. But it goes like this. It basically looks like a C chord, like a C shape, but you take off your 3rd finger. It's actually exactly like a C chord, but you take off your 3rd finger. So what that is your 1st finger goes on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and your 2nd finger goes on the 6th fret of the 4th string. Now, with this hand, first your thumb plays the 5th string alone. Then, right after that, take off your 2nd finger on your left hand, and your right hand, your middle finger is going to play the 2nd string, the B string, while your thumb is going to play the D string. And right after you do that, you do a hammer-on. That's how you get that sound. So if you haven't done a hammer-on before, what that is when you play those 2, right after you play it, your 2nd finger alone smacks down on that string. It's not about pressing hard, it's about pressing fast and accurate. You don't want to miss the string or go like this. You want it to be like that. And if you're really good at hammer-ons, you should be able to get it without even plucking. Hammer's on right there and you should get that sound. He's not plucking fast at all with this hand. He plays the thumb on the 5th string, then the middle finger plays the 2nd string while the thumb plays the 4th string. Hammer. Now you stay where you are with this hand. Index finger plays the G string, 3rd string. Plays the 6th string, middle finger plays the 3rd string, and then index finger plays the 4th string. So now the whole thing is thumb, both together, hammer on, index finger on the 3rd string, thumb on the 6th string, middle finger on the 3rd string, index finger on the 4th string. That's really slow. A little faster. Sounds familiar? He does it 2 times, just like that. And make sure it's nice and even. Da, 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 da. It's in 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Or you can say it's in 6, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the next chord is great. It's exactly the same, except now you put your 3rd finger down. So now it is a C shape. exactly the way you did it. Same hammer on, same plucking with this hand. Here's the first chord. Do it 2 times. Then you go to the second chord. Do it. And then the second time, on the last note, takes his hand off. Takes that second finger off because he's going to go to the next chord. So it actually makes it easy. So that last time, it's like this. Everything's the same. And then when you put that index finger on the D string, off. So here's the whole thing. First chord. Again. Up. Then the next chord. It's the same. Now, take your hand off now. Now here's a cool chord. I love this chord. This is the second one in the song. Third one in the song. Second finger on the 7th fret of the 6th string, and the third finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string. Everything else is open. Now, with this hand on this one, you get to use your ring finger. So, the thumb plays the 6th string, while the ring finger plays the 2nd string, the B string, at the same time. Then you kind of go down and then back up again. What I mean by that is, after you play both, middle finger plays the 3rd string, index finger plays the 4th string, thumb plays the 5th string, index finger goes back and plays the 4th string again, middle finger plays the 3rd string again. So it's both go down, up. So if I just called out these hands, these fingers, it would be both, middle, 1st, thumb, 1st, middle. It does that twice. This part's cool. This is an F major 7 chord, which actually with the capo on is an A major 7 chord. It's an easy chord. If you already know how to do a C chord, it looks exactly like a C chord. You just move everything. Just move the 2nd and 3rd finger, not everything. These two, this way, 1 string. First finger stays where it is. So that's a C chord. Boom. One by one, it's first finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, second finger on the 6th fret of the 3rd string, and third finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string. Let me make sure I'm doing it right. Yeah, so what happens is the thumb plays the 4th string while the middle finger plays the 2nd string. And the first finger plays the 3rd string. So we have both, then the first finger plays 3rd string, then the thumb plays the 4th string, so we have, that's the starting of it. Then I'm going to use my ring finger on the 1st string, middle finger on the 2nd string, first finger on the 3rd string. It's kind of tricky. So both, first finger, thumb, ring finger, middle finger, first finger. So it's both, first, thumb, 4th, 2nd, no, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. And it does that first part again. So thumb on the 4th string while middle finger is on the 2nd string, then first finger on the 3rd string, thumb on the 4th string. So now we have then he finishes it off with this little melody. So 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the high E string, the 1st string, first finger on the 5th fret of the same string, and then open. The whole thing. Take it off here and now. Next chord. Yeah, so that last one, you're just holding there, you're going both, third string, fourth string, first string, second string, third string, then both, third string, fourth string, then the melody. Third, first, 0. That's kind of the trickiest part. So what happens in the song is he does that one time, and then the second time he does this kind of melody thing, and the chords are actually a little quicker. What I mean is he doesn't do them 2 times each. So he does that first chord just like we did it. But instead of the last 2 notes being this, he goes. That's the whole thing. So what's going on is basically the last 2 notes that you're playing of the pattern, these 2, instead of doing that, he's putting his pinky on the 7th fret of the first string, plucking that, and then taking the pinky off and playing it open. So thumb, both of the hammer, first, thumb. Then we do that pinky on the high string. And when I play that high string, I'm just making sure I use my middle finger or my ring finger because it's up there, it's easier to plug. That's the first one. The second one's exactly the same, but you put your third finger now on that chord, just like we did on the first part. Next chord. Then he goes to that third chord. When he gets to there, so it's both, then the second finger, middle finger plucks the third string, index finger plucks the fourth string. Then you go up high, you take your hand off, and you play your first finger on the 7th fret of the first string, and then your third finger on the 9th fret of the first string, and then open. So that's. So instead of going like you did on the intro, it's. So now so far we have. Notice how I did it 1 time each, it's not 2 times like the first part. Now when he gets to the F part, the F major 7 chord, he actually does that 2 times. So you go to that 4th chord that we learned in the song, just like before, that one that looks like the C that you move it over, and you starts the same. Thumb plays the 4th string while the middle finger plays the 2nd string. Then index finger plucks the 3rd string. Then the thumb plays the 4th string. Like that. Then you take the whole thing off. You're going to move over. Put your 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 1st string. First finger on the 5th fret of the 1st string. Then open. Right? In slow motion it's. And he does it again. Whew. So that whole part. Second time. There you go. It seems like a lot of information, and it kind of is, but you'll see once you start doing it, everything is very, very, very similar. He's just adding little things and taking little things out. That's the main part of the song. In the intro, he does this first part 1 time. The first thing we learned. Then he does it with the melody. Next chord. Then he starts singing. And he does the first part 2 times. This. That whole thing, he does that whole cycle 2 times through. And then there's another part, we'll call it the interlude, which is the second part, the part with the little melody. And he does that 1 time. However, this time I think he makes a mistake actually, and it's cool because the mistake sounds good. You can kind of hear him like laugh and say something. So, for the record, I think it's a mistake. And this happens a lot in recordings. People will make mistakes, then they'll listen back and go, actually, you know what, that's cool. Let's keep it. So I can show you the mistake if you really want to be authentic, but he does the first chord just like we did it. This is the interlude, so it's the second part with the little melody thing. Just like we know it. And on the second one, instead of plucking his thumb down here on the low string, he plucks the 5th string, and then he just plays the open 1st string twice. Right? So the first time is just like that. And then he goes back to the other part, just like we know it. So it's really only the second chord that he does that mistake. So normally it's this. Right? Here's with the mistake. Sounds cool. Yeah, the only reason I think it's a mistake is because it's different than all the other times, which is a little odd, and he kind of giggles in the recording, so it's kind of like, those of us who have made mistakes playing music, it is funny. Cool. So we have the intro, now we have the 2 verses, now we have that little interlude with the mistake, then he does 2 verses again, and it's just like it was the last time. So it's that first part we learned, we double them up. That whole cycle, he does that 2 times again. Now it's the end of the song where he has this part where he holds chords. That part right there. So if you're finishing up the last verse, here's the last verse. This is all stuff we know. Say the thumb is the 5th string open and the index finger is the 4th string open. So after he plays this part, he goes, he lets it ring, and he says, he sings, the distance is futile. This is all out of rhythm. We've lost the rhythm now. It's just open. And the next chord is here. Very cool chord. What's going on there? I'm pressing my 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the A string, the 5th string, and then the 3rd finger is on the 5th fret of the D string, the 4th string. While I'm doing that, I'm plucking those both with my thumb and my index finger, and at the same time, my ring finger is plucking that 1st string, the high E. So, first chord, the distance is futile, then he plays this. That's what I just showed you. Hasty, you'll get it, I think he sings. Next chord is pretty easy. It's the same thing as the last chord. You just move everything back. Boom. 1 fret. So now your 2nd finger is on the 6th fret of the 5th string, and your 3rd finger is on the 6th fret of the 4th string. And the same thing. He plucks those both, thumb and index, and then the ring finger plays the high string. Open. And he says, feeling deep, which is the same exact thing with this hand and this hand, except you take off your ring finger. So, that whole part, take it from that last chord leading into it. The distance is futile. Hasty, you'll get it. Move back 1. Feeling deep, take off your ring finger. And then he says, deep inside your bones. What chord is that? This is the first chord we learned in the entire song, except it sounds different because of the way he's plucking it. He's plucking his thumb on the 5th string, index finger on the 4th string, and let's say middle finger on the 2nd string. Deep inside your bones. I'll be gone then. The next chord, he just takes this 2nd finger and he moves it 1 string that way. 1st finger stays where it is. See, this was the first chord we learned in the entire song. That's the 1st fret. 1st finger on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, and the 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string. That's the first chord we learned in the whole song. Then he moves it 1 that way, just the 2nd finger. Then he's going to pluck with this hand, thumb 1st and 2nd on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings at the same time. So from the chord before that, it's deep inside your bones, first chord we learned in the whole song. Then you move that 1 down. I'll be gone then when you. Then he says when you, he plays a C chord. That's the 2nd chord we learned in the entire song. And then he kind of goofing around, almost sounds like he goes. What is that? That's a really cool thing to do. It's a C chord. He strums down, down, up. You can use your thumb or your index finger if you want. Then he moves the whole shape up 1, 2 frets. So here's where we were. Boom. 2 frets up. And strums that once. So that whole section. Let's do the last chord leading up to it again. I'll play it. Distance is futile. This is on the 7th fret. Then on the 6th fret. Feeling deep inside your bones. I'll be gone then when you. Then that strumming thing. Now the song's pretty much done. The last thing he does is he does that first intro part again, this thing. It's a little different this time. It's up to you whether you want to do it exactly like he does it. But the way that he does it is he does the first time just the way we know it on the first chord. Then the second time he does that chord, he does that melody part. Just like we learned it before when you learned both parts, but now he's kind of mixing and matching them. So without the melody, then with. Same thing on the next chord. Without the melody, with. Then he does the last 2 chords the way we know them, without the melody. Cool. Hope you liked it. I'm going to try to play along with the whole thing. We'll see how it goes. But please like, subscribe, and donate if you can. Here we go. On a jacket, fast and sick for gone.
you'll get that feeling deep inside your bones. I'll be gone when you kiss me.
That's the whole thing. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun making that. Tough song. But once you get those two parts together, it's really not that hard. It's kind of just the same thing over and over, and remembering where it goes. Like, subscribe, and or donate, please. Thank you. And I'll see you next time.